only in the U.S., but in Europe. And I thought that the turn in China was actually very positive. 6% futures orders in China versus a 3% expectation versus a decline last quarter of 3%. So they're making headways there.
Huge for the World Cup is huge for Nike. It's going over much better than expected. ESPN numbers were record, I guess, yesterday. That's Disney, DIS,
Does that mean they weren't watching
which is
CNBC?
the other way to play that.
Maybe.
I think around noon, maybe 7 million people were logged on to ESPN to watch yesterday. So that's beyond just their television reach. So that was a new record for ESPN, eclipsing the Super Bowl. So that's a big deal for Nike.
And it was real nice. Mike Tirico actually called me up from ESPN and asked me a few questions about, hey, how are the numbers? Knowing that we were on at the same time. And I said, look, they did slip a little bit. They did in 2010. They likely slipped pretty hard yesterday for everybody outside of the ESPN watchers. But that just shows you the World Cup. The money that was spent by Nike there, they're already recouping that. Have you seen the growth numbers that they've talked about in soccer itself? It's up 23% year over year. So the numbers there are really, really strong. They're very competitive with Adidas right now. When you look at the margins that improved, and John and I were going back and forth about which one, Under Armour or this one. You can own both. It's okay to own both stocks. One's a huge grower, one's a little bit slower grower.
You have a preference?
Both of them are making, well, I own the stock of Under Armour. I own options in Nike, and options is where we've seen a lot of activity, Mandy. Just going into this, we started to see folks